Welcome to this episode of the Tea With Me podcast with me, Shane Todd. Guest episode today. Can I just say though, before we get into the episode, I just feel I need to point out I played five-a-side with Dan last week, and gotta say, sent him a text after and compared him to James Milner this season. Liverpool won the Champions League. Completely solid as a rock. Showed up wearing a chili top, pair of old Puma King football boots, and just did a job. So Dan, I just want to say, well done. I thought you had a really good game. You want to say I had a good game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about your claim that you scored 4 goals in the Premier League in a season.
I 100% stand by the claim I'd score 4 goals in a Premier League season. If I was playing up front for a decent team, getting the service, 100%. Yeah, so look, it's guest episode today. Before we get into it, allow me to plug our two sponsors. Number one, Thompson's Tea. Thompson's Tea. Look, you know that Punjana is the number one selling tea in Northern Ireland. If you didn't know that, what are you doing with your life? Thompson's have been making tea for 125 years. So you'd like to think in that time you're going to be really good at something if you've been doing it. Don't do something for a year if you're not good at it. They're good at it, so they've been doing it for 125 years. And they're celebrating their 125th anniversary with, I'm sure, great events. But, you know, they sponsor this podcast, so we love them. Look, they travel to places like India to get their tea. I'm sure there's tea companies here that, you know, get their tea in places like Nuts Corner, Shankill Buy and Sell, but not Thompson's. They're literally heading to India, taking a swig of tea and just going, yeah, keep up the good work, and then coming straight home. Punjana, decaf, Irish breakfast, original blend, and that's what I'm drinking today, Punjana. You know, before, we've done it before, we'll do it again, we'll call like those nerds at Tetley. You know, those cartoon guys at Tetley with their white coats and their brown flat caps on. Nerds. Punjana, or just the Thompson's family. Local, made in Belfast, drank in Hollywood, but it's close enough to Belfast. You can literally see it from that window. Our other sponsor is Manscaped. Look, Manscaped is the number one in below the belt men's grooming. They've sponsored this podcast for a long time, and you know that in this summer weather, you got to keep a good cut up top and down below as well. Manscaped are always thinking about your balls, and so am I. That's what I'm thinking about right now is your balls, or you know, your partner or your dad or whoever it is. What you want to do is go to manscaped.com. They've got genuine products like ball deodorant, ball cleanser, ball wipes, and this, the Lawnmower 3.0. You know, just get a touch up. You know, we all talk about, you know, getting fades in our hair. Why is it not more socially acceptable to go, mate, I just got a fade? Guys, like, doesn't look like you had your haircut, then you point down, but don't show, but just point. Manscaped.com, use the code teawithme for 20% off and free shipping. I use it, Dan uses it, Mike uses it. It's a good time. Teawithme, use the code teawithme for 20% off and free shipping. Let's get into this episode. My guest today has just had to sit there for a couple of minutes while I talk about balls. He's just been sitting there. We have to do this every week and it never gets less awkward. My guest this week is Caoimhin Agyarko. Right or wrong?
Perfect, yep.
Perfect pronunciation. Because we were saying before, like you were basically saying that some people get one right or maybe a lot of time both wrong.
Yeah.
But Caoimhin Agyarko.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Got one.
Caoimhin, you're a boxer. I've known about you for, I suppose, about 3-4 years now, and you seem to just be getting better and better, bigger fights, all that kind of thing. Why are people here, like in Belfast, like so good at scrapping?
Do you know what? I just think it's the fighting Irish, you know what I mean? We've always had that fight in us and had that heart, and then to go with it, we've been technically well schooled by our coaches, so Belfast boxing's booming at the moment. Irish boxing's booming at the moment.
Yeah.
So many great names and talent coming through, and hopefully I can lead that pack.
There's so many things I want to chat to you about and ask you about, but let me take it way back. So how did you get started in boxing, like growing up in Belfast, all that kind of thing? Like how did it all start for you?
Yeah, so I was originally born in London,
right,
and lived there until I was 7-8. But my whole family's from Turf Lodge, like my mum's side. And when we moved over here, I think the first couple of months we went to my granny's house, and that's facing Holy Trinity Boxing Club, and my uncle used to box in Holy Trinity Boxing Club when he was younger, so my mum kind of just brought me and my brother over to show us where he had boxed, and it wasn't like you are being brought here to train or to learn how to box, just show you where it is and then we'll go, and just from there we just both of us put gloves on, and I haven't looked back.
Class. So boxing was in your family like at the start?
Yeah, my uncle used to box, and he was all Ireland champion and stuff, and I've never ever watched him, but I heard he was very good, so it started with him, and then obviously me and my brother got into it.
I mean, people always say, like any boxer we've chatted to in the podcast before, and we've had loads on, they say that it's such a good way to help you when you're a kid, like focus on like a good lifestyle, you know, like staying out of trouble, having something to do, because that's like, even from personal experience, like when you're a kid and you don't have like hobbies, especially something as disciplined as boxing, you can get into like all sorts of trouble, and it's hard to like find a focus and stuff. Did you find that boxing, when you started getting into training, like did you find that took up like a lot of your life?
Yeah, definitely, because I knew what level I wanted to be at, and you had to put the work in, so you're training twice a day, and obviously from a young age you're going to school, so when you're training in the morning, going to school, and then training again after school, you don't want to go out, you're knackered, do you know what I mean? So you're just going home and relaxing, and most of your friends are out getting up to no good, so it definitely keeps you out of trouble, teaches you discipline and how to be dedicated and stuff. So
do you remember the first time you got properly like dug in the nose? Like your first time you properly get smacked?
I can't remember the first time I got punched, because like I said, I joined when I was like 7, so yeah. I've been sparring since then, but I remember having tear-ups when I was a kid, like just standing toe-to-toe with people. I was always a little fat kid, so my brother was the one that was technically good. We got named Muhammad Ali. He was Muhammad Ali and I was Joe Fraser, because I could just fight. I wasn't technically good, so I just remember having tear-ups when I was a kid, and just getting punched in the face, and for some reason I liked it.
See, that's where me and you're different. Like there's not like, I love the idea like training, like I've always liked sport as a kid, and I probably would have loved the idea of boxing and, you know, getting the gloves on, and I like watching boxing on TV at that age. The second someone hit me, you know, one of those ones where your eyes start to water a bit, I'm gone. Like even if they were like your tip for greatness, I'd be like, no, I can't hack getting proper eyes watering and like hit. Yeah. Like I remember the first time I got hit out on the street, I don't think I went out for about 3 months. I was like, no, I'm done. Like I can't get hit.
Do you know, it's not a nice feeling, obviously, but you do get used to it. The worst thing is getting hit a body shot. I'd take punches in the face all day. Yeah. Body shots just aren't nice, but
right.
I know what you mean. Getting punched in the nose, like taking an uppercut to the nose and your eyes start watering, it's definitely not nice.
Would you have got into fights as a kid in the likes of school, or did boxing help you not do that?
Do you know what? I would have grown up. Obviously, like I said, I moved over here from London. And I think it was like 2005, 2006, so there wasn't really many mixed race families here, and that kind of got me into a lot of fights. And then in school I got into fights because people just always it's mad, even to this day people will test you because you're a boxer. Like,
well, I mean, that's surely something people, especially on nights out, someone hears you're a boxer, you know, it maybe starts off as playful, but I'm sure there are lads who like who would love to get into a fight with you just to test
it's crazy. People just test you and push your buttons because you're a boxer. It's like they want beat up or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. You're like, you know that I'm a professional athlete and I could literally beat you up for the fun of it, but you still want to test me.
That's the equivalent of people coming up to me drunk at a wedding and stuff and going, mate, roast me and all. Roast me. And like, why would you want me to do that in front of your mates?
Yeah. It doesn't make sense, but it's what people like to do. So.
Have you had that? Like, what's the worst on a night out that you've...
Do you know what? People know that they can test you because you're not allowed to hit them back unless it's self-defense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They will just push your buttons, and
that must have been good though as a kid though. A wee bit, like obviously not if someone's starting trouble with you, but if someone did, you know, say in the playground or whatever, you know, come up to you, maybe throw the shoulder into you. As soon as you start, you know, throwing those hands, if you like moving the feet around, I'm sure there were kids being like, "Ah, fuck, why did I do this?"
No, definitely. I mean, I've always got people that would like. slobber you or push your buttons or racially abuse me, and then whenever I've took action, they'd be like, "Why'd you do that for?" I'm like, "Are you serious? Like you've just pushed my button to the point where I've had to defend myself." But
like, it is like a bit of a Belfast thing. We're like, man, I thought you'd love that. You know what I mean? Like,
I was only waiting up with a bit of crack, but no, it's a funny one because they push your buttons, and then once you do something about it, they kind of be like.
I suppose, had you never experienced that growing up in London, like someone saying something racist to you in the playground or out when you were a kid? Did that not really happen in London? Because, like you say, there are so many mixed race people, there's black people, there's white people. But then when you move over here, is that when you first started to experience it?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think I ever encountered being racially abused. And while I lived in London, and even to this day, obviously I trained back in London as a professional, so never. But when I moved here, I was racially abused a couple of times, and you know, it wasn't major. I never had a childhood where I grew up and I was constantly getting racially abused, and I was probably because of boxing, because people knew
sparking people out.
Yeah, could handle myself. But yeah, it kind of started when I moved here.
I mean, it's one of those things where you don't, because like obviously, you know, I can't understand that, and like, you know, growing up in, like, you never would have seen that, and you assume that. I think there's a thing here where you're like, oh no, like none of that goes on here. You know, we like to think that like, no, there's no, you know, in Ireland in general, people go, there's no real racism, but of course there is. But obviously, like, you know, I'm far less likely to witness that happening.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But in like the playground stuff, like does there come a time where when you're younger, when you just kind of not accept it, but you just kind of, you get less surprised by it, I suppose?
Yeah, like you do. You kind of you get less surprised by it. And I didn't really get it much in school because of boxing, but I remember having a couple of fights in school because people racially abused me. But you know, I've always had thick skin, and it's stuff like that's never really annoyed me or bothered me. So I always, if I could, I just always let it go over my head. But sometimes obviously I did have to defend myself.
I mean, it's you know, being talked about so much now because of obviously like England and the football game, and it's crazy that those conversations are still you know, it's still happening.
2021, they're still happening. It's madness.
But what's the, you know, people talk about, you know, especially a sports person like yourself, the minute you miss a penalty or, you know, maybe lose a boxing match, it seems like instantly there is that racist abuse that just gets dished out. People saying things like, you know, they want Twitter and social media accounts that they want people to have to verify their identity with a passport or something like that. Do you think that kind of thing helps, or do you think it is just a far wider problem?
I do think it's a far wider problem, but anything will help. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at least you're attempting to change, and I think that social media platforms. Because I feel like that's the biggest. That's where people get the most hate, is on social media, because you can go on and make a fake account, and just go on and abuse whoever you want. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like that's a big thing, and I think social media accounts should be asking for verification and asking for you to be able to provide a passport or some sort of ID, because then you can be identified. And I feel like if people know that they can be identified, then they won't do it. Do you know what I mean? Because nobody wants to put that on themselves. Do you know what I mean? So because they'll get hate for it. So I think that's a big factor.
Like, you know, we're having that conversation within the last week, and then on Twitter only a few days ago you got into, you know, an exchange back and forth with another boxer, and then it went down that road as well. And that's not something that, you know, that's something that not that you expect, but something, okay, there's a faceless troll, you know, living in their, you know, probably their mum and dad's basement, writing something, you know, giving someone racist abuse. But when it's someone else in your sport, someone that you could potentially be fighting, or and someone you've boxed in the past, that must feel maybe a bit different.
Yeah,
you know,
well, the person who did it, I wasn't surprised by it, because there has been.
By the way, publicly on Twitter, just in case anyone doesn't know, publicly on Twitter in a back and forth, because boxers do have that. You know, if there's maybe a fight brewing up, you know, and people like neutral fans love to see like a bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
But what they don't expect to see is racist abuse as part of it.
Do you know what? And like people expect another professional fighter to kind of represent themselves better, and it was unfortunate that I had to wake up to that comment, but I kind of, not that I expected it, but I wasn't surprised by it.
Yeah.
And do you know what, it was a bit different because someone's actually publicly coming out and being racist and showing who they are, do you know what I mean? They're not hiding behind a fake account, and so it was a wee bit weird for me. I was like, I just didn't understand the logic behind why they had done it, because I know now that there's been a lot of consequences for him in terms of like not boxing, memorials being pulled down from his former amateur club and stuff like that. So I'm sure he regrets it, but it was a bit different because it was just so forward and publicly put out there, rather than hiding behind a screen. So it was different.
When that happened, did you instantly did you start to get communication from other boxers or like your management and that kind of thing? Like what happens when that, because we're talking about Rashford, Sancho, Saka, as soon as they were racially abused and came forward and said, look, I'm getting all this hate, people rally around. That's when I think you see the people condemning it, and then also you would hope that their people, if you like, management, agents, that kind of thing, are giving them help and checking in, support and that kind of thing. So do you have like a team of people around you that can chat to you about that and that sort of thing?
Definitely. My manager gave me a call yesterday. My coach gave me a call yesterday, and then sponsors and friends and family obviously called me and just was asking, was I okay? My management team, we just spoke about putting out a statement and obviously saying that he will never get the fight with me and stuff like that. And we kind of just said that we didn't need to go back and forward on Twitter. I didn't need to explain too much about it. I put a tweet out just being like, obviously it's happened. I don't want none of my friends, family or fans to be shedding any hate on him, because I feel like mentally he's not in the right frame of mind. So I think, yes, it was unfair for him to make the comments on me, but like I say, I've got thick skin and I'm not one of them people. I don't take things personally, and I didn't want anybody going on and slating him, although he deserved it. I didn't want that, because he's not mentally stable, and I felt like there was no need for him to have that. I mean, two wrongs don't make a right. So
I think that's a mature way to deal with something that must be very infuriating, because you could go the other way. You could be riled up enough to go, you know what, like, give me the fight, and then you do that. And
yeah, do you know what, it was more so I don't want to give him a payday. He doesn't deserve it. And second of all, he called me a black cunt. Well, I'm mixed race, but if you want to call me black, I'm black. I'm black, and if your opinion on me is that I'm a cunt, then I'm a cunt. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at things. I mean, I don't take it too deep. If someone wants to shed hate on my colour, go ahead. I mean, you're probably doing some beds to get a bit tan, so...
Me?
No, not you.
Because I got to put this to bed. I got accused. I put up can I say, a lovely picture when I was on holiday recently of me, and I had my baby in the buggy, and I was up the north coast, and I felt good about myself. My wife took a few of them, and I show me that one there, and then put the upload up.
the best one.
And then a few people start to go, some beds go well, mate. And I'm not rising to it. And then the official Northern Ireland football team account, like the Northern Ireland account, jump on and write Gawa, like green and white army, but in brackets, grin and white ankles. Now, I don't do the sunbeds because, look, you can see my line there, So, I just think people do want to do sunbeds. Good luck to you, but I just want to use this opportunity to say I don't do the sunbeds.
I thought you were on the sunbeds because you're in the same colour as me. So
yeah. Also, you said you went. You're talking about that tweet, and you said he called me a black cunt. I said meaning like that's right. That's what that tweet said. Just in case you think I went, yeah, fucking right.
No, you're all good. Oh.
But it must be mental to be even working on a statement with your team to have to come out and do that, because you surely think you're never gonna have to do that. It must be a surreal feeling.
Yeah, do you know what? I haven't been racially abused in years. I mean, I feel like in Belfast people aren't like that. In Ireland in general, people aren't like that. I did get it growing up a small bit, and that's just small-minded people. Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
wasn't like it was happening every single day by 10, 20 people. Do you know what I mean? So I was surprised whenever it did happen, and then obviously I had to speak to my team about putting a statement out and what are we gonna say and what's the best way to react to it. Do you know what I mean? Because I could have reacted badly. Do you know what I mean? I could have gone on and slated him. I could have gone on and said to my manager, make that fight happen. I want to make him pay for that and stuff like that. And I could have took it to heart and let it get to me, but I didn't, and I approached it like a proper professional. I mean, that wasn't the only comment he made. The comment that actually annoyed me was him saying that I got stabbed in the wrong place. Unfortunately, I got stabbed in the wrong place, and that kind of, I don't take things personal. It takes a lot to get under my skin. Like, I've got thick skin. You can say something, it just goes over in one ear and out the other. But whenever he said that, it was kind of like, it was a bit low. Do you know what I mean?
Because that, you're probably, I want to chat to you about that, but you know, you got stabbed on a night out in Belfast.
Yeah.
But did that annoy you more because you were kind of thinking about your family and that kind of thing, and like how bad that whole situation was for like you and other people? Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, do you know what? It made me feel a certain way because even though I do a lot of interviews and I'm always open on speaking about mental health issues and the way I've faced them and because of being stabbed, so I'm always talking about it. But whenever it's someone actually wishing bad on you because of an incident that's happened, do you know what I mean, and wishing that it would have been in an inch lower and I'd have bled out in 12 seconds, so he's wishing that had happened. Do you know what I mean? It does make you feel a type of way. It's not nice, and I know how close I came to losing my life, and it just kind of brought me back to that dark place that I was in. But I mean, I've come a long way from then, and like I said, it takes a lot to get under my skin. It kind of did make me feel a certain way, but I kind of just dealt with it, brushed it aside, and just stopped thinking about it.
You feel so much more, not invincible, but when you do develop that thick skin, so like I on a far different scale, on a far lower level, have, you know, on social media, obviously not racist stuff, but you know, you do get hate, you do get kind of like negativity and that kind of thing. I was saying on a far lower scale, but I think as you get like more mature, and you've been, obviously my thing is comedy, so when you've been doing it for longer and you do build up that thick skin, and you can sort of like, you know, but bear in mind is only someone like, you know, driving past in a van and going, "You're shite, mate," you know. You do, like, it is mad how quickly you can just go, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, definitely. And do you know what?
Is it the start when that happens? Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to have to quit then, you know, because some guy in Ramblestown tweeted me and said he didn't like it.
Exactly.
You know?
Do you know what? It's obviously I've been through a lot, so I've had to kind of develop my mental state in a way where I've got to be bulletproof and tunnel vision. Do you know what I mean? I can't let a sly comment kind of get to me. The way I look at things is that I'm on a path to being at the top of my sport, and like that's my life. Do you know what I mean? I live, eat and breathe boxing, so I can't let a snide comment get me down and affect that in any way, because I know where I'm going. So I just let it go over the top of my head, and obviously for you, like you said, you learn to just deal with it. Do you know what I mean? You be in the sport or in comedy a long time, you're gonna get some sort of hate. You can't please everybody, so I've just learned to deal with that.
A guy, I was walking through City Centre once, and I remember doing comedy like 3-4 years, and I don't know whether he recognised me from comedy or he just said it, but a guy walked past me and called me wanker her, and I don't know why, but there's days where I'll still think about that. I'm like, that's such a specific insult that he looked at me and just said what he thought, and that's wanker hair.
That
now,
just come out.
Yeah, it just came out, and like I've always liked my hair, and then once he said that, I've always been a wee bit like, just there's a voice in my head.
Yeah, just
you know what I mean?
remind
Like
you.
every day, like my hair, like that's why I'm always like working on it, make sure it sits right. So if that guy is watching, whatever, go fuck yourself. And also when people say I look like Ellen DeGeneres, that's something that I'm not.
It gets under your skin.
It gets under my skin.
Yeah.
It gets under my skin.
Don't
big
stand
time.
for it. Come do a couple of boxing sessions with me, and then nobody will be slagging you anymore.
Well, when I had Sean McComb on the podcast, who you know well, I was saying that one of the reasons I don't box is because I was in Boston doing a gig and did a workout in a boxing gym, and like, you know, I was feeling pretty good, like decent cardio on me, like, and put some headphones on. I was like, I could move about. I was watching guys in a ring, like near where I was working out, and I was like, I could move about and do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I got a medicine ball to do like a few slams, pick one up, and slammed it down like as hard as I could, and it was I like folded it down, you know, so when it landed dead I could pick it up again. But when I folded it down, it was a ball that bounces. So I slammed it like with everything I had. I was wearing like all class gym gear and stuff. I was feeling good, and then I remember slamming it down, and I remember then just sort of sitting on a bench, blood pouring from my. This was part of a hotel. Blood just pumping from my nose, and I was like seeing spots, and it confused me that much that I went looking for the fella who did it. You know what I mean? I was like, I've been attacked somehow here, and that's one of the reasons why I don't box.
Yeah.
Because emotionally I haven't recovered from that, and it was me who did it to myself. So no, I don't think I think you could teach me how to move around a ring.
Yeah.
I don't think you could prepare me for someone then trying to punch me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't enjoy that.
You never know.
No, I do know.
Yeah,
I
think
do.
so.
Yeah. No,
Do you know what? Everyone says that. Like, how can you take being punched in the face? You just get used to it.
Yeah.
But then when you learn how to box and learn how to move your head and defend yourself and block punches and stuff like that and anticipate someone's shot coming at you, it's a lot more fun. But because it's like you're trying to hit me, but I know you can't.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
you just
yeah.
move it out of the way and then you hit them back.
But boxing's something that it's not that it looks. When you watch the like elite boxers,
Yeah.
you go, that looks like something I could do. But then you watch like, you know, YouTubers boxing or something like that, and you're like, well, they've been training they've been probably had the best trainers, the best nutritionists. They're already in good shape. They've been doing this for a couple of years, and they look like complete turkeys doing this.
Yeah.
So how long does it take to like look comfortable in a ring? What's your opinion on, you know, YouTubers boxing like Jake Paul, Logan Paul? Are you comfortable with it, or would you prefer that just wasn't a thing?
Do you know what? I don't think it's great for the sport, but I have no problem with somebody else trying to provide for themselves. I mean, you get a lot of fighters being like, I've been boxing for 15, 20 years and I'll never get a payday like the way they do. Do you know what I mean? It's a joke, blah, blah, blah. Everyone has the access to social media accounts. I mean, all they've did is build their profile off of YouTube and social media. So you have access to doing that.
Yeah.
Don't cry because someone else has made themselves successful in another way and then went to another sport to make more money. Do you know what I mean? They've got to a certain profile and then they've got their business head on them and thought of ways to make money. So I'm not about that. I'm not like I won't discredit someone's hard work to get themselves in a position where they can make themselves money. But in terms of disrespecting fighters and coming into the sport and slandering fighters, people who are fighting men and have fought their whole lives and sacrificed a lot to get to a certain stage in their careers. I mean, I'm not about that. I think it's very disrespectful, and I think there's no room, even in general, just with any fighters. Like for me, I'm a very respectful fighter. If I ever call somebody out, I'll be respectful until they disrespect me. I just don't feel like boxing's a sport that needs to have people in and it disrespecting people because it's a dangerous sport. So I'm not about that. But if you want to come into the sport and make some sort of money, if you want to fight me and make me money,
that's what I was going to say. Would you, if one of those boys like you know,
it would be the easiest payday of my life.
Yeah,
Like Jake Paul, I would obliterate him in 2 rounds, and only 2 rounds because I would enjoy the first round.
You'd enjoy yourself,
and then,
yeah.
And then second round, I'd just take him out.
How quick do you think you could knock him out? Like, say, you know, because obviously in that fight, you know, no reason for you not to just take your time and settle into it, enjoy yourself. Say you just went for hell for leather. You think 10 seconds, 20 seconds?
I think a bit. Do you know, I actually rate Jake Paul. I think he's not bad. He's a lot better than Logan. And I think he's got some sort of ability. It's not like he's just come out and he's not training and he's just making a name for himself. He actually does train and puts the work in. So I think technically he's not bad for somebody that's started not that long ago. But it wouldn't take me any longer than, I'd say, a minute and a half. Do you know what I mean? I'll give him his dues. I mean, I think a left hook to the body would sort him out very quickly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I said earlier, it's alright. You can take a headshot. Do you know what I mean? Anybody can take a headshot because you'll be dazed and you can kind of continue. If you get out a body shot, it's just it's not nice at all. So
yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where, as I say, you watch it and you see like the difference between someone like him and an elite seems massive. So say I said to you, like, look, I'm doing celebrity boxing. What would and you had to give like basic advice? what would it be?
Focus on the basics of boxing. Do you know what I mean? People like trying to complicate things too much and teach like people who do white collar or stuff like that the hardest parts of boxing. But I would say just focus on the basics, like the straight shots, straight 1-2. Because if you're fighting someone who's probably on the same level as you,
Yeah.
They're not going to be great. So if you can do the basics very good, then you'll win. Do you know what I mean? So,
But I'd like to give people a bit of a show. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like I
okay.
like to like bit in the same helmet. You know, I'd
Right,
like
a
to
bit
throw the
flashy.
chin out a bit and then, you know, taunt you with it.
well, the only problem with that then is that if you don't know what you're doing and you're taunting them and you don't really know.
No, I've seen him fight, so
Right,
I
okay.
would know what I'm doing. I just put the hands behind the back, throw the chin out a bit.
Yeah.
Don't know, Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones, but I just throw the chin out a bit and then take it away.
That's fair. But if you, I mean,
snake.
in terms of like you can do that,
Yeah.
but you got to be ready to be punched. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've got
That's the
to
downside of it.
you've got to kind of stick the chin out and then be ready for them to throw a punch and then maybe you can counter it or something.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Yeah, just focus on the basics, the straight shots, feet work. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they're the most important things.
I think I would spend, if I was doing it, so much effort on my entrance that by the time I got to the ring, I'd just be fucking busted. Like, you know, like, remember Wilder wore the big heavy suit?
Yeah.
And then he said he was too tired for the fight.
That'd be you.
100%.
What
That'd
would
be
you come
me.
out in?
Do you know what I'd walk out to? You know the it's a wee bit smacked out, but you know the theme tune from Peaky Blinders?
Yes.
Red Right Hand? That?
Good song.
Yeah, because you probably think I'm going to walk out to, you know, dance music song or
Yeah.
something like that. But when I come out to just
Come out
that,
serious.
some people, oh fuck.
What's going
you
on
know,
here? But
and
then you're gonna come out and you're gonna be dancing about.
No.
No, just serious.
no
Poker
expression.
face.
No expression, right? No, I don't want any corner men. I don't want,
Just you and your own.
just
walking
me.
out.
I'm not wearing like I don't know the towel. I've got the gloves on and I'm walking quite fast.
You're in your shorts and all your box.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just ready to go, and I walk in, sort of have the head down, and I've serious because you probably think I'm going to walk out smiling,
Yeah.
joking, no facial expression, and then I do something really freaky out, like when I'm head to head with the guy I'm fighting. I just like I start acting like there's something wrong with me, and then I'm whispering things like I go, you know, I say, look, I'm normal. People think I'm normal all the time, but I'm not. You know that I'm saying things like that.
trying to get into their head.
Yeah, I go.
Yeah.
There's,
I think you should do this.
I think I should do.
I think a lot of people pay a lot of money for this.
And I don't even want to do celebrity box. I want to go
Do-
pro.
what? You
I
wanna
want to go pro.
Straight into the
I
deep
wanna,
end.
what weight? So I'm 12, like 12 stone 1.
Okay, so you'd probably fight at middleweight
Right, yeah.
or light middle.
Super?
I'm middleweight.
I'd probably go super, I reckon.
Well, you're lighter than super middle. So 12 stone 6, I think. No, sorry. 12 stone. 12 stone 4, 12 stone is super middle. I fight at middle, which is 11.6. So,
Yeah.
I mean, to get in, if you're getting into shape and stuff, you're going to be like. If you're,
What do you mean getting in?
but I mean, fight fit. If you're getting fight fit,
I'm ready to go.
You're ready to go now.
I'm ready to go.
Okay.
I reckon I go pro, and then like the Fela is coming up in August.
Yeah, so you'd be ready for that.
I'd be ready for the
Do you reckon
Fela.
you could take Mick Conlon?
I mean,
You
no,
and
because
you and Paddy Barnes?
he's towards the end of a camp. I'd beat Paddy Barnes.
You beat Paddy?
I'd beat Barnes, yeah. No
right,
worries,
okay.
just body shot, like you say, body shot.
Body shots.
That's his weakness. Biscuit ribs.
That's
Straight in.
a dig at Paddy there.
Yeah. Well, no, here's the thing. I would go body shot because I think he'd be thinking, you know, he remembers me getting hit the body at Windsor Park.
Yeah.
So he'll go, he's not going to hit my body then. Because he'll think
You're gonna
that's
take
what I'm.
Mick, yeah.
At the end of the day, no, because I don't want to call it pros or anything.
Well, Paddy's retired at the moment, so
Yeah.
you could get him out of retirement, and like this could make a lot of money.
I reckon if I move around enough, he's not catching me.
Right. Okay.
But if I start to, all it takes is him to hit me. In fact, maybe I won't do it. Who is middleweight? Like who? I don't want to fight you. 'cause
World
you
champions.
Come on the podcast now and stuff.
Well, Golovkin is middleweight.
I look like Golovkin.
Do you know what you do a tiny bit? Golovkin, Demetrius Andrade,
Bums.
Bank.
Bum.
Fight them in the morning. People like that. So.
Imagine this goes viral. Chris Eubank's like, I'll come over to the field and fight you. And I take it. Piggy Blinders theme tune. It's like, who's this prick?
Standing face to face going just standing there the middle of the ring.
There's people who would pay good money to see me get my cunt knocked in a false park.
Oh, that'll be a gig.
I'm not even on the boxing night, just like before the Wolf Tones.
just you're just standing there singing away and someone's looking you to fight.
Chris Eubank knocks me out and then Grace starts. Yeah, I think that'd be a bit of fun. I mean, I would love to do, like I've talked about the white collar. I would like to do it if I knew I was going to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would hate to do it and lose.
But that's why you just do an exhibition where there is no winners. Do you know? So
but I want to win.
You want to win.
I just don't want to have to like fight someone who's good. I want an easy win.
Yeah, you want to impress.
Yeah. I want to fight
and you can say you've always like you can
undefeated.
tell people. Do you know what I mean? Undefeated.
Well, I'm undefeated at the minute, but that's just because I haven't had a fight.
Yeah.
You know, I've never had a loss. See when you, so like even amateurs and stuff like that, when you lose a fight, are you someone that wants to almost go like as soon as possible after it, or when a fight's over and a camp's done, do you like to take your time, like think about the fight and have a bit of like downtime as well?
Yeah, so obviously in the amateurs it's competition, so you could be fighting 5 times, fighting that you win, but you always want to go again. If you lose, if you win, you want to take a little break. Do you know what I mean? If you win a competition or win a fight, do you know what I mean? My last camp was 4 months long, so it was very long, and I just wanted to come home. Well, I was actually looking forward to fighting. I couldn't wait to fight. Couldn't wait to put on a good performance and showcase everything that I've been working on in the gym. So I wanted to fight. As soon as it was over, I just wanted to get home and relax and take a couple of weeks off. So took 2-3 weeks off and just chilled out. But when you lose, you just want to go again. You want to redeem yourself and kind of get back to winning ways, because obviously nobody likes losing, no matter what you're doing. I mean, if I play you rock paper scissors right now, I have to win. Right,
we'll go 1, 2, 3. It's 1, 2, 3 and then show, so not 1, 2 show.
Yeah.
Right, ready?
Ready. Wait, ready?
Okay. Oh, yeah. You okay?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Relaxed? Let's chill. So 1, 2, 3 and then go.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Ready?
Okay. Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Fuck. Yes. Right, okay.
Do you want to spar? No.
I'll need to get you back. I need to beat you or something.
This will be in your head for
all
sure.
day. I'll be sleeping tonight and having nightmares about it. That's like a beat.
When I'm in the ring waiting for Chris Eubank coming into the field, you're behind him, walking him in, ring man. Knock him out. What was the moment where you knew you were going to go pro, or you knew like I really have a future in this sport?
Do you know what? When I was 14 years old, I knew. I kind of, so whenever I was a kid, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't great. I was just a small fat kid that loved to fight. I was always angry and just had a lot of energy at a young age and just always loved to fight. And I wasn't great at it at the start. I wasn't, and I kind of just stuck at it, just kept training. It was one year where I'd said to my coach, Mickey Hawkins, can I train with the seniors? I think I was only 13 years old. I was like, can I train with the seniors? Because during the summer, all the juniors and youths didn't train, and then the seniors still had competitions on, so they had to train. So I had asked, can I train with them? And he was like, no, there's no kids kind of train with the seniors. We take it serious, blah blah blah. And I was like, I'll put the work in, blah blah blah. I felt like that was what I needed to kind of.
What size were you then? Were you like?
I was only 13. I was only 5'5" or something.
Oh, okay.
I was only a kid. So I trained with Sean McComb, Mark O'Hara, D Walsh, Conrad Cummins, Rory Dalton and stuff, and he'd let me train, and I used to get beat up every day.
By men?
Sean's probably 4 or 5 years older than me.
Right.
So 13, they were 17, 18, say.
So Sean McComb was beating up kids?
Yeah, Sean McComb was beating up kids. Yeah, Sean, you know the beatings you give me back in the day. So yeah, do you know what? I would train with Emmons, and I was getting beat up, and I loved it. For some reason, loved it. But that made me a better fighter. That was the year that made me who I am, like, without doubt. So once I realised that I could I was good at this, and I could I understood boxing and knew that I could do it full time. I just knew that then that I would give everything to boxing, and and never looked back. But in terms of like turning pro, obviously I turned pro, I think it was 2018. I got to the stage in my career where I'd achieved everything that I could in Irish boxing. On an international level, I'd been to World and Europeans, represented Ireland a load of times, and fell short in the Commonwealth Games qualifiers, and then obviously didn't qualify for Rio, and just didn't want to wait around for Tokyo because I would still be waiting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just felt like it was the right time for me.
Go back a few years to the night that kind of could have just not just ended your boxing career, but could have ended your life. I remember seeing this on the news at the time. It was a huge story where, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're on a night out in Belfast with friends, and it ends up with you getting stabbed in McDonald's in Belfast. What was the lead up to that? How did that?
Do you know what? I was just back from a multi-nation tournament in Paris, and I'd won the gold medal. So I was out the week after, and I was with me and my ex-girlfriend. It was just me and her out celebrating. And I was fighting the week after that against America, so I wasn't drinking. And both of us weren't drinking, so we ended up leaving the club early enough, around about 1:30, and went round to McDonald's. And then the queue was like outside McDonald's, so we were waiting in the queue to get served, and someone had just threw a cup, like a McDonald's cup, and it hit my girlfriend, or hit me and went all over my girlfriend, and or sorry, my ex-girlfriend, let's say. And what do you call it? I just stepped out and asked who it was, and nobody said anything. I'd asked somebody I knew who it was, and it was Simon's over there, and I've looked over, there's about 30 of them. Like, oh God, here we go. So I've just walked over, like what are you playing at? And they were like, it wasn't me. And I was like, people seen you. It was. And I was like, what are you playing at? There's no need. And they were like, it wasn't me, but what are you going to do about it anyway? I was like, I'll smash you about this place, like, don't test me. And he was like, no, or one of his friends were like, no, you won't. And I was like, I'm telling you right now, I will smash every single one of you about. I probably shouldn't have got myself into that, but she could have just walked away. Yeah, so they were like, no, you won't. I was like, do you know what? I went to take my jacket and my watch off, and I looked to the side of me, and my ex was taking her jacket and watch off. I was just like, we were actually only with each other a week that day, so I was like, I can't put her through this, fuck's sake. So I was like, do you know what, use your donuts, and just walked away. And then one of them had come up and hit me, and I'd hit him back. And as I've hit him, he stumbled back, and I went to hit him again. So I've never been dropped. And I mean, I've been dropped when I was like a 10, 13-year-old kid. So other than that, I've never ever been dropped in the ring or in the street. And I just remember someone come up behind me, just hit me with a bottle, and I just hit my head off the ground. And I thought to myself there, if I stay down, I'm getting my head kicked in, like I'm dead. So I've got to get up, and it just felt like I'd been rocked in boxing, but only I'd hit the canvas or hit the floor. So I got up and I chased him, and then kind of the rest is just blurry from there. The only thing I can remember is my ex had pulled me off one of them. I had one of them on the ground, and she had pulled me off. And as she's pulled me off and been like, that's enough, she'd spun me round and been like, what the fuck's happened to your face? And obviously being a fighter, I know that I've either got a small cut or I'm bruised. Like, it's just as simple as that. I was like, I'm alright. And her big brother, Carl, had worked in Thompson's. I was like, will you go round the car? Because I'm trying to fight and make sure nothing's happened to her. And I was like, we fucking go round the car. And I went to run off because Dave got up and run, so I went to chase them, and she just grabbed me, gave me a hug and whispered in my ear and was like, keeping your face in a really bad way. And I pushed her off me. I was like, go round the car, and looked down. She's wearing a white top and like covered in blood. And I was like, what the fuck's happened to you? Blah blah blah. And she's like, it's not my blood. And I've looked down, I'm just covered.
So the adrenaline and kind of the shock of how quickly I bring it, you had no idea.
I hadn't a clue, didn't feel it, didn't know.
So someone had stuck what into a knife?
So I was hit with a bottle first, and then someone had clearly come up with a Stanley blade, and this because it's too clean of a cut for it to be a bottle. A bottle, if someone's having a bottle, it's going to be jagged, and then a knife would have done a lot more damage. So, it's straight down, it's a clean cut. So it would have been a Stanley blade.
At what point do you realise, like, oh fuck, basically, did an ambulance come for you?
Yeah, so the police. So as soon as she's told me this, I've went, I'm all right, and went to chase them again. And as I've literally went to chase them, I literally don't know where they've come from, but the police have just grabbed my hand and they've come out of nowhere. And so I'm standing, obviously getting questioned by them, and they've asked me what's happened. And
You've just been stabbed in the neck.
yeah, so they went and got their first aid kit, and obviously one of them's wrapping me up, and I was like, let me go home. I'll stick a plaster on. I'll be alright in the morning if it's bad. Like, as soon as I went, I'll stick a plaster on it. The cop started laughing. Was like, you're gonna need more than a fucking plaster.
Yeah.
And then obviously the ambulance came, and I've actually never felt as more embarrassed in my life. Like when that ambulance came and I was sitting in that ambulance, just like as a fighter, I hold a lot of pride. You know what I mean? And I just kind of felt like I'd been violated. I was only going with my girlfriend a week, and she's had to witness this, and she's in the ambulance with me. So yeah, they called an ambulance, but the stage where I started taking it serious and knowing it was serious was I got to the hospital, and they'd rushed me through the NA and stuff, and I'm lying there, and there's like 10 doctors around me putting tubes and stuff in my arms and cut my clothes off. And then the main doctor was like, right, I'm gonna have a look at this. I can't, you're losing too much blood, so I can't give you any anaesthetic or any pain relief. We need to get it stitched now. So as one of them went to take, as the doctors went to take off the wrapping that the police had put on, I'm lying there and the blood is just squirting and hit the ceiling, and I went, oh my god, this is bad.
Yeah,
so I'm just sitting there going, what the fuck? So once that's happened, they told me I can't have any anaesthetic, and all. I went,
By the way, at this point, are you just thinking about what's happened, or are you thinking bigger picture here? Are you thinking about boxing, your life, or what's going through your head?
I'm just thinking about surviving. Do you know what I mean? I'm just thinking, like, could this be bad? Like, how bad is this? Do you know what I mean? I didn't feel anything, so I was okay. Like, I was completely fine because I didn't feel anything. So all I know is that my face is bleeding. I haven't seen anything. Obviously, my top is drenched. There's blood everywhere, but I feel okay. But the way the doctors are reacting, like ringing blood transfusion and stuff like that, I then knew it was serious, and I kind of had to change the atmosphere because it was so serious. So I was like, can my girlfriend come in here? And they were like, I'm not too sure she'll want to see this, but if she wants, and obviously she was like, yeah. And I was like, I just kind of took the.
You're still trying to continue the date.
That's it. You know, I was taking it away from myself because I was saying to the doctors and all, I was like, isn't she gorgeous? Like, it's for our 1 week anniversary and all, and she's like, will you shut up? Like, you're lying there, literally face open like a fist, and you're like, call me gorgeous. And it's like, I was just trying to make jokes and stuff because it's like, I feel fine, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Obviously I wasn't, and then that's when I realised it was serious. And then obviously they brought me into my own room and were like, you're gonna go for surgery today. There's a couple of people in front of you, but then I know the stitching had broke and my face had swollen up, so I couldn't open my mouth, I couldn't speak anymore. So I'd rung the buzzer and I was just like, this is swollen up and I can't speak, kind of thing. And they were like, right, that's bad, we need to put you before everybody else and we need to get you in surgery now. And then they just rushed me to surgery. So
what is the conversation about boxing? Do you think when you come out of surgery and stuff like that, are you immediately thinking about boxing and how quickly can you get back in?
Yeah, so as soon as I come out of surgery, I kind of freaked out because I didn't know what was happening. I just woke up, I didn't know. My brother actually grabbed my hand as I entered the room, and I like grabbed it and freaked out and like broke down crying because I didn't know what was going on. But then once I come around, the head doctor had come in, and I was just like, right, okay, how'd it go? Everything went well. And they were like, yeah, just a couple nerve damage and stuff like that. I was like, right, okay, how long till I'm back in the ring? Like, can I? Well, 2-3 weeks, will I be fine? She just looked at me and was like, let's not worry about boxing right now. You're going to be out for a long time. And that kind of just, they were like, an inch lower and you'd have bled out in 12 seconds. So I think you need to recover properly and stuff like that. So that kind of hit home, and that's obviously was down about that. And boxing's been my whole life since I was 7 years old. Like, I literally live and breathe boxing. I wake up every day, that's on my mind. Go to sleep, that's on my mind. It's what I do, it's who I am. So to be told that we don't know when you'll be back, it's roughly 8 to 9 months. Because I'd lost so much blood, it takes so long for the blood to come, like, produce itself again. And and I went back too early. I think I'd gone back after like 4 or 5 weeks, and I was getting like really bad headaches and like feeling lightheaded. Like, so after like doing the warm up, I was like getting really lightheaded and stuff, and that's just because I'd lost so much blood and had to get like a blood transfusion and stuff. So I was like, right, okay, I'm gonna have to take the time that's meant to, and I think it was 5 months or so. I ended up having my comeback fight in September. I was stabbed in May, so I did take a bit of a break. So
I mean, when that, like you say, like you live boxing, breathe boxing, that sort of thing, when you have to take that time out, was that the first time in your life, or since you were a kid of it, that you hadn't bought? Was that your first break?
yeah,
Where you were like forced to take a break?
So I remember like even the week that I had come back from the tournament just before I'd been stabbed, like my coach Mike was like, right, you just been to a tough tournament, 3 tough fights, take a week off, and I was just like, no, just take over, like still training. So I never like taking breaks ever.
Yeah.
Like I like to do something, even if it's not boxing, just some sort of sports. I just like to stay active, and to be told that, and just not knowing whether I would box again, because obviously I've got a scar on my face, and like obviously with boxing you're being punched in the face. Will this ever open up again? Blah blah blah. And obviously after I went and seen a plastic surgeon and stuff like that, they'd said it should never open. Like it'll never open, thankfully. So that was a relief for me. But obviously I'd never took any break from boxing, and then having to take 5 months off was just a bit of a nightmare for me.
The only thing, obviously without, you know, being stabbed in the neck, the only thing I can liken that to is COVID. For me is like, you know, I've done stand up for 14 years. I did my first gig 14 years ago, and I don't like taking a break ever. If it was realistic, I would perform every night of the week, more than once if I could. I just love to feel like sharp with it and love what I do. And then when we couldn't do that for 9 months or whatever, because there was a wee period in September where I could do some shows, I felt like a different person. And
you just feel lost as well.
It's like you said, it's what defines you. Like boxing's what defines you, comedy's what defines me. So if I'm not a comedian, then
what am I?
Then you start to get those thoughts of like, here, what do I do when this isn't on?
Yeah,
you know, and I was lucky to have a period in about, I think it was August, September, where things opened up a wee bit, and I always had that to look forward to. I think without that, I'd have struggled a bit more. Also, we had a kid bang in the middle of lockdown, so that was like a brilliant distraction for everything. But I think without that, I think I definitely could have struggled with my mental health a bit, just because I'm like, I can never really sit still. Like I need to have something.
Yeah.
So I need to channel, you know, I need to channel my energy into something. And like during lockdown, I'd never been a runner before, but I was running every day. I was working out outside, and I was lucky to replace that comedy thing with those a bit.
Yeah.
But when you had to take that 5 months off, obviously for more serious reasons, did you have bad thoughts in that time? Did you struggle with mental health?
Yeah, massively struggled with mental health. Obviously, just the trauma of being stabbed, not knowing who did it. I could be attacked again, stuff like that. But it was the uncertainty. I had to leave my job, so at the time I was working for Belfast City Tours, I'd say, in the city centre. So where I would normally work and have to walk past every day was McDonald's. So the bus stand was at like outside HMV.
The one I would say,
and then where we would normally stand is just facing City Hall, just where the bank is. So if I'm getting customers, I have to walk past McDonald's every day, and that was always hard for me. So I had to leave. Like I never, just after I got stabbed, I just never went back to my job. I'd obviously just left, and then I was like, right, I have no job now. I can't fight. What do I do? Do you know what I mean? Like I obviously didn't get great like GCSEs, blah blah blah. So I was like, if I can never box again, like what am I going to do? Stuff like that. And then obviously the mental health side of it, just with being stabbed and having nightmares and stuff like that. So it was a tough time for me.
It's probably as well the fact that you never think that's going to happen to you. You know, you hear so many stories like that about nights out. You know, you read about it, or your mate tells you about, you know, someone who got never punched in their life, got punched once outside a bar and died. And you just don't, you think that's just something you hear about.
Do you know what? I feel like I brought it on myself, because it's mad. I've got a scar here, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone always used to ask me, how did that happen? I always used to tell people, like, messing about when I was younger, like, oh, I got stabbed. And then obviously I would tell them the truth that I just had surgery when I was younger. So I'd always tell people, oh, I got stabbed. And they're like, no way. I'm like, yeah, serious. And then a couple hours later, I'd be like, no, I'm only messing about. And it's just had an operation when I was a kid. So I feel like by me saying that, and then I actually ended up getting stabbed, I kind of manifested it in some way. But yeah, so I won't be doing that anymore. Definitely not.
I mean, yeah, it's just something you never think would happen, will happen. And I've heard so much about people who have been seriously attacked or shot and lived to tell the tale, and they really struggle with their emotions because it's such a powerless thing as well. Like once you get stabbed, you're unconscious or getting this operation, recovering. It does, and like you say, all of a sudden you go, well, I can't do these things that I did, so what do I do now? But when you did the Belfast bus tours, were you like on the bus with the mic?
No, so I wasn't.
Would you have done that? So was that like, do you start getting people in, then eventually you get the call up and you're...
So there's obviously tour guides on the bus, and when they're driving past, they explain everything. I'm somebody that's always been able to speak and good at speaking and speaking to people that I don't know and stuff like that, but I couldn't do that.
Do you know what? I couldn't do that job. I mean even people walking past in the street, you want to do a tour? I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would get nervous.
Do you think so?
100%. People go, you must be able to talk to anyone. I could do a gig in front of, if you said there's 1 million people, you want to do a show, yeah, that's fine. But I'd get nervous, but I could do it, no bother.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't look nervous. But if you said, will you give a presentation to 6 people, I'd fucking die inside.
So all you're doing is people walking about town, you're just going, city tour, folks? City sightseeing?
Nah.
Do you like the city tour, do you know what I mean? And
no,
that's literally, well, it's not all you have to, because if they say yeah, then you have to sell them the tour. And obviously there's competitors. So there's Titanic and city tours, and then there's the Causeway tours. So they're trying to steal your customers. So if someone comes over me, then you got people running over you trying to take your customers.
Right.
And then you have to kind of stay composed.
Did you ever throw in a body shot?
Never. I could have though. Could have a couple of times. Couple of them got a bit cheeky. I could have just laid one into them. But
who's the?
I didn't.
What's the?
Sean used to work with him as well.
Who?
Sean McComb.
Oh yeah.
He used to work. Me and him worked together at City Tours. Yeah. It used to be good fun.
Yeah.
Sean's a character as well.
Yeah.
He always sold the tours.
Of course. Who's that? Did you ever work with a guy? Who's the Asian guy with the Belfast guy?
Chiwa? Is
that his name?
Oh,
he's been around for
do you know what? I actually seen him the other
years.
day. Yeah, I've actually got a video on my phone of him. He's so funny.
He is such a character.
Yeah.
People love that.
Big personality.
Yeah.
Chiwa, you call him? That's his name, Chiwa.
So I never thought about doing one of those bus tours. I was like, I know Belfast, and I know the city, I'm from near here. And then I did one of those tours about 2 years ago with a few mates, and I was like, I didn't know
all
half this stuff.
Yeah,
Unreal.
You actually learn a lot about Belfast by doing the tours, because obviously I had to do one at the start to obviously be able to explain to people what our tour is about. So I didn't realise the history of Belfast. I mean, there's certain things that you just don't know about it. So it actually is very good.
Do you get good support in Belfast?
Yeah, unbelievable. Even with the situation yesterday, thousands of messages. My last fight, obviously there was only 1,000 fans allowed back, but 100 people come over to Telford, which is in the arsehole and near Birmingham, and to come over and support me.
100 people in Telford translates to I'd say 6,000 in a big city.
In a big city.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of.
So do you know what I do? The Irish fans, just in general, with all their sporting people, whether it's boxing, football, MMA, they always show support, and it's unbelievable, and it makes me proud to be from here. Do you know what I mean? Because people spend their hard-earned money to come watch a fight and stuff like that. So the support that I get from Belfast and Irish fans in general, it's unbelievable. And I love it because with every fight I get more fans, and it's just they just show me so much love, and I get messages every day, people saying I inspire them and stuff like that, and it's just it's nice to hear, and it's good for me to be able to interact with my fans. I mean, I would never not reply to somebody, so I always try to reply to people because it means a lot to me. So yeah, I get a lot of support.
What does the next 6 months, year look like for you? You plan far in advance for your career, or is it just...
Yeah, so we should be fighting again September, October, and then
Me and you.
me,
Who are we
me-
taking on?
Whoever the world. No, I should be fighting in September, October. Hopefully for a title. My last fight was meant to be for the WBC International. That would have put me in the top 10 in the world. So that fell through last minute because the opponent pulled out. So I've been told that I should be fighting for the WBA International. So that'll put me in the top 10, top 15 rankings in the world, and then just take it from there. I like to take one fight at a time. Don't look too far ahead. I know the end goal. The end goal is to become the first Black Irish world champion. That's my dream, and I can create history. So that's the end goal. But right now it's just get myself in the top 10, top 15 in the world, and take one step at a time.
Where would you love to fight? Like, say you were having a big fight at home, anywhere.
Caoimhin Park.
Oh yeah, like imagine being like the first fight at Caoimhin.
Caoimhin Park. I remember going to Caoimhin when I was 13, 14 years old, or maybe just a bit younger, and going and watching the Gaelic and hurling. And I always said that one day I want to headline a show here. Do you know what I mean? Like Andy Town, just round the corner from where I grew up, and I obviously run about in Andy Town and stuff like that. So I always said Caoimhin Park, if not Falls Park. Obviously, it's a stone. Literally, you could throw a stone from Falls Park to my granny's house and Holy Trinity Boxing Club. So I would love to fight there. I'd love to be in the field bill, but I want to headline a show in Caoimhin, and hopefully for a world title. That's my dream, like. So. And
anything outside of boxing that you like particularly enjoy? Like, do you have any other passions on the side? Like, are you into like fishing or anime or anything like that?
Nah, I play a bit of football.
Yeah.
I was playing last night actually.
Bit of fives.
Yeah.
You handy?
Yeah, I'm good. Anytime you want, I'll play.
Were you playing our? I mean, we're built like. We did it. We talked ages about like a comedians one, and then there's like a couple of musicians and stuff play. Like Jordan Adatunji was on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. He played, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I'll definitely be up for it.
That'd be class.
Who
would you liken yourself to? Like I said Dan earlier, so we bit like James Milner. Dan, if you had to liken me to a player, like who would you wanna?
Were you liking yourself to Riquelme the other day?
Yeah, do you remember Riquelme used to play for Argentina? Yeah.
Do you know who I'd say? I'd say someone like Jesse Lingard. Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit. Do you know what I mean? So
a real confidence player, like.
Do you know what? I'm good at defending. I'm really fast. I'm really strong.
But you can be in our team.
Yeah, really fast, really strong. I'm good at dribbling. My end product. Sometimes I just try and beat too many men.
Yeah.
I'll take it past 2, 3, and then the last guy. I was playing with this guy last night. He's like 6'6", and I was just taking it past all his teammates, and then he just stick this big long foot out, and I just couldn't get it past him.
Hate that, yeah.
But I'm a decent player.
We'll join in our.
I like to do a bit of MMA, so I'll go down and do a bit of MMA training. One of my best mates, he trains and used to fight, and he's a coach, so I'll go down and do that, and it's something that I would definitely be interested in doing after boxing. If there wasn't so many injuries in it now, in terms of like training, I would do it a lot more now, and I would probably fight, but it's obviously a lot. I
went to it once in Valley Leisure Centre in Newton Abbey and was getting ready to do it. Like went down with my mate, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, if you want to just take your socks off," and I was like, "I don't know if I'm ready for anyone to see my feet." I don't have weird bad feet or anything, but I just wasn't
ready for that.
I wasn't ready for that. I was like, "Oh, can I? This is my first week. Can I keep my socks on?" He's like, "No." So I took them off, and then that was in my head. I couldn't do it. I mean, I couldn't do it with my socks on, but I just couldn't do it. There was one point though where, you know, you were like rolling with people, and then they were like, so whatever position I was in, I had to like grab around their waist from behind, and then I was going to go for it, and then I did this move. No, somebody was going to grab me, and then I at the last minute did this like spin that wasn't taught, that wasn't part of the thing. And genuinely, there was a couple of seconds where I think people were like, "That was quite good." The person then got me and like near choked me out and killed me. But I did this thing where I was like, I think I could probably fight pro boxing, and I think I could get into the cage. Like,
I'd say you'd piece up McGregor right now.
Yeah. Like if he's got the cage on the foot and stuff, I just run around his hospital bed, just throwing shots at him. Yeah,
slapping him.
100%. Yeah, I mean, if you headline Caoimhin, me and Paddy Barnes definitely on the undercard.
Yeah, I'll make sure that's full.
And the main thing is, don't let him think we're doing it.
Yeah.
So like, maybe float the idea he's up for it, and then go, I don't think we can, in case he like gets back into like shape, Olympic shape, and then like the day before the fight go, here and gets on. But I've been training like a
You
madman.
just come out ripped to shreds and
Yeah.
about 10 weights heavier than him.
Yeah, 100%. They just smack that grin off his face. Keith, thanks very much for coming on the podcast. Appreciate it. And good luck with everything coming up.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No worries.